Offense. Passing analysis. Herbert led a controlled, precision-driven passing performance that defined the Chargers' offensive rhythm in Week 6. He completed 77.8% of his passes for 256 yards and 2 touchdowns, finishing with a passer rating of 114.9 and a total expected points added, EPA, of plus 5.5 or plus 0.15 per dropback. His completion percentage over expected, CPOE, was plus 6.0%, demonstrating superior accuracy and decision-making even under pressure. Herbert attempted 37 passes and averaged 6.9 yards per attempt, slightly above the league average. The offensive line allowed just 1 sack on 37 dropbacks, a 2.7% sack rate, despite facing a blitz on over 32% of passing plays. Herbert's average time to throw was 3.01 seconds, which reflects the use of intermediate and extended read concepts. The Chargers' passing EPA distribution revealed where their efficiency was strongest. Quick passes under 2.5 seconds were nearly flawless, as Herbert completed 93% of those throws with plus 11.3% accuracy over expected. Short passes under 10 yards gained plus 7.2 EPA, forming the backbone of Roman's rhythm passing system. The intermediate range, 10 to 19 air yards, was Herbert's most efficient zone, producing plus 3.4 EPA and a 100% completion rate, a result of his anticipation and pocket control. Deep attempts over 20 yards were less successful, 0 completions on 4 attempts and minus 4.3 EPA, primarily due to tight coverage and heavy pressure rather than inaccuracy. In terms of target distribution, Herbert was most effective when throwing to the perimeter and tight ends. Wide targets generated plus 7.2 EPA with plus 10.5% accuracy over expected, while throws to tight ends added plus 2.9 EPA on a perfect 100% completion rate. These patterns show the Chargers' offensive design, focusing on high probability, boundary, and play-action seams rather than slot-heavy reads. Receiver efficiency was led by rookie Ladd McConkey, who became the offensive centerpiece. He produced plus 5.8 receiving EPA, a plus 25 yards after catch over expected, YACOE, and averaged 3.4 yards of separation. Trey Harris provided consistent intermediate production, while tight ends Disley and Orand combined for plus 3.8 EPA as reliable safety valves. Keenan and KLS were less effective on deep shots, reinforcing the offense's preference for controlled spacing rather than vertical volatility. The Chargers' play-action game amplified Herbert's efficiency, creating plus 6.5 EPA and an 84.6% completion rate while neutralizing Miami's blitzes. When pressured, Herbert still achieved plus 3.3 EPA with plus 9.9% accuracy above expected, proving his poise and adaptability. Overall, this was a masterclass in structured quarterback play, an offense built around rhythm, precision, and protection integrity. Offense, rushing analysis. The Chargers' rushing offense was both explosive and disciplined, producing 140 total rushing yards on 25 attempts, an average of 5.6 yards per carry. Though the rushing expected points added per play was slightly negative at negative 0.06, the raw efficiency metrics reflected strong performance against a defense that frequently stacked the box. Running back Kimani Vidal spearheaded the ground game with 18 carries for 124 yards, averaging 6.9 yards per attempt and plus 3.2 rushing yards over expected per carry. His performance was especially dominant on perimeter runs, where he averaged 9.2 yards per carry and plus 5.2 yards over expected. These numbers highlight his acceleration, vision, and ability to exceed blocking design. The offense leaned heavily on outside zone and toss concepts, taking advantage of Vidal's burst and lateral agility. The offensive line provided exceptional run blocking, generating 2.77 yards before contact per attempt, a reflection of strong coordination and leverage. Vidal also added 2.83 yards after contact per attempt, demonstrating balance and resilience through tackles. Despite facing stacked defensive boxes on 44% of his carries, he maintained elite production, confirming both his efficiency and the line's execution. Hassan Haskins, used primarily in short yardage and power situations, struggled to generate traction. He rushed 6 times for 14 yards, 2.3 yards per carry, and recorded negative expected points added per attempt, negative 0.42, with limited yards over expected. Justin Herbert contributed a single scramble for 2 yards, but produced plus 2.22 EPA, underscoring efficient situational awareness on designed or opportunistic runs. Strategically, the Chargers used motion and shotgun offsets to widen running lanes, forcing Miami's defenders into horizontal pursuit. Their outside zone preference, 64% of total rushes, played directly into Harbaugh's offensive philosophy: stretch the field laterally to create downhill cuts and open up play-action deception later. While the EPA per rush was modest, the explosive yardage profile and consistent yards over expected show that this was one of the Chargers' most well-executed rushing performances of the season. Third defense, passing analysis. Defensively, the Chargers emphasized coverage discipline and structural integrity over blitz aggression. The unit played roughly 56 to 60 total defensive snaps, rotating 21 players to maintain fresh personnel across nickel and dime sub-packages. Their goal was to contain Miami's explosive passing game rather than overwhelm it with pressure. Edge rushers, Tuli Tuipulotu and Odafe Owe, led the pass rush. Tuipulotu recorded 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit, and a 3.7% pressure rate on 27 pass rush attempts, focusing on disciplined containment. Owe, on the other hand, provided the most disruptive impact with a 21% pressure rate and 1 sack, winning frequently with speed and bend around the edge. Inside, Justin Igbe created interior compression without high sack totals, forcing Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa into quick releases averaging just over 2.2 seconds. In coverage, the secondary performed exceptionally well. Safety Derwin James played 56 snaps, allowing only 2 receptions on 4 targets for 23 yards, while also recording an interception. Cornerback Tarheeb Still was the top coverage defender, allowing only 7 total receiving yards on 4 targets, a remarkable 1.75 yards per target rate. Nickelback Elijah Molden added 6 tackles and allowed just 1 catch for 14 yards, demonstrating reliable closing speed on perimeter screens. Dante Jackson struggled somewhat, surrendering 3 short completions, but overall coverage integrity remained strong across the unit. The Chargers limited Miami to 1 passing touchdown while producing 2 takeaways. They prevented any explosive plays over 20 yards, except for a single motion seam route to Jalen Waddle. The unit relied on tight zone match coverage, excellent tackling, and complementary rush patterns that minimized big plays. Overall, it was a disciplined performance, emphasizing leverage, pursuit angles, and turnover opportunities rather than pressure volume. Key defensive playmakers included Derwin James as a turnover catalyst, Tarheeb Still as a lockdown corner, and Owe as the most impactful edge rusher. The defensive structure reflected defensive coordinator Jesse Minter's emphasis on disguise and containment rather than chaotic blitzing, a strategy that effectively neutralized Miami's rhythm passing attack. 4. Defense, rushing analysis. Against the run, the Chargers displayed much improved gap control and tackling consistency compared to earlier weeks. The defensive front held the Dolphins' rushing attack to approximately 3.9 yards per carry, maintaining discipline in both A and B gap integrity. Interior defenders Jaheim Owatis, Justin Eboigbe, and Tivondre Sweat formed the foundation of the run defense. Each played with strong pad level and leverage, forcing Miami's zone runs to bounce outside. Defensive tackle Jaden Caldwell recorded a strong get-off time, 1.13 seconds, and reliable containment presence. On the edges, Tuli Tuipulotu and Odafe Owe maintained solid edge-setting responsibilities, preventing outside zone success for most of the game. Linebacker Dion Henley was the standout performer in run defense. He led the team with 7 tackles and 4 run stops while missing none, demonstrating range and gap discipline. Troy Dye complemented him with 6 tackles and 4 additional stops, showing impressive blitz timing and run-fit awareness. Nickelback Elijah Molden and cornerback Tarheeb Still also contributed valuable run support from the perimeter, combining for over 30 run defense snaps and maintaining strong tackling efficiency. Miami often attempted to stress the Chargers with misdirection and motion-based runs, but Harbaugh's front 7 stayed disciplined. Defensive tackle Jaleel Tart and depth interior linemen Jamal Ogbonia and Naquan Jones reinforced interior gaps effectively, keeping the Dolphins to limited yards after contact. The team's tackling was particularly clean. Missed tackles were minimal across all levels of the defense. In summary, the Chargers' run defense was structurally sound and collectively efficient. They controlled the line of scrimmage, limited explosive runs, and executed their assignments with discipline. This balance of controlled aggression and strong tackling defined one of their most complete defensive efforts of the season. Final synthesis. The Los Angeles Chargers' Week 6 victory over the Miami Dolphins was a comprehensive display of efficiency, balance, and discipline. Offensively, Justin Herbert's precision passing and Kimani Vidal's explosive perimeter rushing formed a complementary rhythm that sustained drives and minimized risk. Defensively, the Chargers neutralized Miami's vertical game while tightening their run fits and improving tackling fundamentals. The performance exemplified Jim Harbaugh's evolving blueprint for 2025, a structured, assignment-sound team built on play-action deception, run-pass balance, and defensive communication. If Los Angeles continues to build on this formula, adding a more consistent deep threat offensively, they are positioned to emerge as a top-tier efficiency offense and one of the National Football League's most structurally complete teams heading into the midseason stretch.